Hi everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I've made it out to Canvey Wick to try and blow away some of those January blues, because it's a very grey, overcast day today. Not fantastic for photography, but at least I'm making the effort to get out, because it's these conditions that sometimes can really produce those excellent images that you don't capture otherwise unless you come out in these types of conditions. But for the past few weeks now, we've had quite a lot of grey skies, not fantastic sunrises or sunsets, so it's been highly frustrating from a photographic point of view. But it's just making that effort to get out in some of these conditions and seeing what's more around on the floor and some of the detail images that you might need to crop in a little bit more on. But hopefully today should work out to be an enjoyable shoot. So let's come along. For the first composition, I've got it set up here with the camera set up on about 50mm, looking out across over there to some of the young silver birch trees that we've got here at Canvey Wick. It's a very blustery day today, so the reeds that are making up the foreground of the image are moving around quite a bit. So it's causing a little bit of an issue with my settings. So I've got the camera set up on f11, ISO 200 and approximately 1/25 of a second exposure. But I've been having to play around with that and time it so when the wind's not gusting that little bit and it's a little bit less gusty, pressing the shutter button, and then obviously trying to get the reeds a little bit more static. However, there is that little bit of movement in it, and unfortunately they are the conditions that I've got today. I can't really do too much about it. But one thing I am trying to do with the composition is trying to remove as much of the sky as possible, because it is a grey day today. There's no detail at all really, and even I think in post-production I don't think I'm going to be able to pull out much detail. But yeah, it's just not really adding too much to the image. So I'm trying to sort of use the zoom of the lens and the 77D to obviously pick out some of those details in the background. So for the first image, working out to be a really good image, I hope. So January can be a really tricky time of year for many different reasons, post Christmas blues, etc. But photography wise, I find, yeah, it's a little bit of a struggle, I must admit. There's a lot of grey, dreary weather like it is today, and it's hard to get inspired to actually come out. So with photography, as everyone knows, it's about capturing a good composition in really interesting light, and sometimes in January it can be really sort of flat, poor light. But try not to let that put you off. It's coming out though, still getting those skills and making sure that when obviously the conditions are right and you've got the time, which is obviously a key thing, you can then obviously come to those locations when it's actually working more in your favour. For me, I love coming out in these conditions. Yes, it can be tricky, and yeah, I can find it hard to motivate myself to come out, particularly on a day like today, really sort of breezy as it's picking up now. There's a bit of rain in the air as well, which is typical for this time of year, but trying to come out, capture some of these images. Yeah, they may not necessarily be portfolio style images, but it's still coming out and getting a little bit of exercise, a little bit of fresh air as well. So all I'm trying to say with this really is to try to keep motivated when maybe the conditions are not necessarily helping you to motivate yourself. Being back out with a camera, that's the motivation for me, and that will keep me going for sure. So let's go and see if I can grab an image down at the shoreline now. The next composition, I've made it down here to the shoreline. Very windy, bit of mist or sort of rain in the air as well, which is making the conditions even more grim. Added on to that as well, I've started off 2020 as I did in 2019 and dropping the vlogging camera onto the hard concrete. So yeah, hey ho, the sacrifices of vlogging. But image wise, working out really interesting, because I've come out onto one of these jetties here and got one of the obviously cast iron mooring parts that they obviously use for the boats, etc., or was going to use for the boats when this area was going to be used as an oil refinery. But looking out across the way to the actual oil refinery here. So yeah, I mean, the Thames, as anyone knows, is a hugely industrial river, and you can't really come to this area without actually capturing some aspect of it. Either like where I was back at Canvey Wick, the potential of industry being in that particular area and never obviously manifested, but to where obviously industry is thriving, and obviously London Gateway over in the far distance as well. But yeah, so this image here, what I've actually got is a camera set up on f5.6 ISO 100, approximately 18mm on the lens, and because of that, what I'm doing is focusing on the mooring groin here, and then focusing on the background as well, and looking to do an exposure blend, focus stack, because it's yeah, to get the right f-stop to make sure that front to back focus is there. Oh, sorry, just covering up with sorry about that, had to make sure get all the rain off the lens. But yeah, to try and get the right sharpness from front to back, I was sort of struggling with the actual f-stop, so doing that focus stack will hopefully work out to be an enjoyable image. I've finished my shoot here at Canvey Wick on what I'm going to call a typical January day today, But I've really enjoyed myself coming out with my camera, yeah, just getting out, blowing away those cobwebs is really good. And that's the thing really, I think, about coming out in these type of conditions. Yeah, they're not going to be great, but as long as it's relatively dry and you're enjoying yourself with your camera, that's the most important thing really, to be fair. Trying to get out and take those images, it might not necessarily be any portfolio images, but making sure you're just getting out, getting those skills up, and when the conditions work in your favour, then you can actually obviously go forward with that. On a separate point, I want to thank everyone that's recently subscribed to my channel. I can't believe the support that I'm getting at the moment. I've just reached over 350 subscribers on my channel, and that is blown me away. I really didn't think I would ever achieve sort of treble figures for my channel, let alone obviously getting that closer to that sort of 500 target. Yeah, absolutely, thank you so much for your support, and also the interaction as well. I love the interaction with you guys. Post the vlogs and in the comments below. Really interesting. For those that also haven't checked out as well, is if you want to see some of the images that I've taken, is check out my Instagram feed as well, and obviously that's a link on my channel as well, so head over there, check out some of the images that I've captured from obviously last year, and I'll be uploading as more frequently. So yeah, hopefully be able to see some of the content over there as well. But yeah, I'm so grateful for all of your support. If it is your first time now watching my channel, please make sure you give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing as well, and until next time, take care.